Oh, it's a tiny hole.
Into the cave, they cut their plates. It's true. Look, the only one that they want to go. Look, but it's not possible. That is the entrance. That is the access. Look.
That's the rowing boat that takes you in.
Yeah, waiting for the dive. But anyway, today there's high tide. But when there is no high tide, the entrance is only 1 meter high and 2 meters wide. It means the tourists, they come here like we, like us. Then they have to swim, get in the rowboat. Oh look, they're going.
It's the Hotel Caesar Augustus.
Okay. The umbrella is our guide. This is another view of Sophia Loren's villa.
Я сбегаю туда, что а ты меня щелкнешь. Зачем? Ну красиво. Потому что мелкая сильно. Мелкая и непонятно. А вот тут очень здорово, как будто это я уже фотографировала. Да? That's the hole in the rock from. Is that the hole in the rock?
That's the hole in the rock that we came through this morning.
Bakit hindi nakaalis na oh.
Did you get it? No. Look at those,
Basta. Sorrento comes back up.
Looks as if it's just the one track, so that carriage goes up and down, presumably. Arrived at Herculaneum, and we've been provided with radio broadcasting equipment. Only Pompeii was destroyed on the first day of the eruption. This is the garden of what is called the hotel, though it probably wasn't a hotel in ancient Herculaneum.
With a mosaic. That's interesting just for the design of the swastika, which is very, very impressive. It's not the only one, and after that you look at just few steps ahead to consider some of the original grids, GRID, protecting. We remind you about Pompeii and Herculaneum is that in Herculaneum we can see carbonized, charcoal-made
the original carbonized sliding door.
Made up of chestnut wood. As you know, chestnut decays very slowly in the architecture. The only original aspect of the ceiling is represented by the gargoyles, you see the gargoyles, so that the rainwater falling down underneath came down into the basin. That's the famous.
This was possibly the dining room.
Just a moment for the passage for the young group. If you like, you follow me to see something that is very, very Roman, the Roman baths.
This is the gymnasium of the Roman baths.
We just consider the fitness aspect. Men's sana, a lot about this
is the male bath.
In the high majority of this nation called Italia or Italy. The original floor, and let me insist, I want to be sure that I make it understood, that's the original one, that means
this is the original
2,000 years old. Very well designed for the Roman. And that's the original ceiling. You know, the high majority is the very original ceiling. You enter, ladies and gentlemen, in the waiting room. Here are the visuals. That's the original marble. Tiny piece of marble stuck down to the ground. To stick down them, it was used mortar, milieu. There is the original ceiling, really. Very well. go to the back. Look
This
at this
is a
fantastic
shop.
chapel, shrine, religious place, representing Neptune and his wife Amphitrite. Don't worry about the name of the wife. Anyway, Neptune, the god of the sea. Take your time, mind your step. It's really fantastic. Naturally, it has been a little bit.
This is the so-called Temple of Neptune. This is the forum.
And you see here, still today, few traces of the original iron and lead to weld them together. Just interesting to remind you that a part of this lead came from the British Cornwall. Interesting information for English and British people. Just to remind you. That's the square. You see the classical Roman arch. This was to dignify
classical
the city
Roman
center,
arch.
dignify the square. Please look around you, left to right. You can see so many remains of carbonized wooden beams.
Carbonized wooden beams along
Very
there.
interesting. The lack of oxygen determines this carbonization or charcoal making phenomenon. Which is the place that we are. Sacellum, that means temple. Temple for the cult of the genius, for the cult of the spirit of Caesar Augustus. I will remind you that Caesar Augustus, the subject of the painting. The first one shows the hero of the town. You know that we are in Herculaneum. Per definition, the town of Hercules. So Hercules must be represented over. The original painting, very famous goddesses. The one in
This is
front
Hercules with Juno.
and the queen of the gods. And it's that she is Minerva or Athena.
Minerva
goddess
or Athena
of
on the
war
left.
And wisdom. Something strange to understand. The wife of Hercules, Hercules' wife, called Deianira or Deianira. The wife did not accept the selection of the river. She spoke with her husband. The husband defined the river for a duel, and naturally the husband, Hercules, defeated the river during the duel. You can see the characters. On the very left, Hercules, reddish skin with his club, mace, and the beard. The other side, you see the river Acheloo transformed in a man. Up on the right,
This is
you see the dust
Hercules and Herculo river transformed into man.
And if you want to take a photo, and I will remind you that this was the area reserved for the cult of the spirit.
This is possibly the fountain of Hercules.
Fantastic position in which this house was built, the house of the deer.
The
And
house
reason
of the
why
deer, this
it's
is.
called the house of the deer
And he would
is
have had a
that,
wonderful
just
view
proceeding a few
of the
steps
Bay
ahead,
of
you're going to
Naples.
see the famous actions against the robbers. Sometimes directors of our archaeological sites are obliged to this decision because some statues in the past have been robbed. So these are very faithful
These are very faithful reproductions
of the original
of
ones.
deer being attacked by dogs.
Deer attacked by dogs. You see the table, it shows that the surface is not original, particularly the surface. The table is not original too. You see on my left a young man with a leather bag for wine, one of the many young men. Look at the beautiful painting where my colleague was before.
Transparent bowls,
Thanks to
a
the
status
discovery
symbol.
of an inscription on a carbonized loaf of bread in this house. The name in this inscription was
Might be a dining room. This is the massive flow, pyroclastic lava flow.
You have to imagine there, professors are saying, looks to be very logical, Hercules. Why? Because Hercules was even the patron of sport and sportsmen. He was very famous for the 12 labors.
Reproduction, but it's the most beautiful statue they found.
And when you come inside, you're going to see this beautiful fountain.
It's a fountain.
A famous mythological monster,
The Hydra.
special snake that had many heads, called the Hydra. The Hydra, the image, the Hydra. According to mythology, Hercules beheaded the many heads.
We've now arrived in Naples. Just taking a little stroll along by the boat park.
Короче, если ты что-то будешь слышать, давай сразу сигнал, что-то переезжай, это что делать?
Getting up here.
We've just walked past the excavations, as they've now become, where they're building an extension to the metro. Discovered a Roman site